Hey guys, the Chicago Bears, they're being linked to some talented players as we're almost to the point free agents can start coming into town. And look, we've got some cap space, right? We've got a huge draft coming up too. But first, we have the new league year starting next month on the 13th. First things first. I want to highlight a few guys on offense and a few guys on defense. We should definitely target in free agency, and that we've been linked to. And also, these players, they're not going to break the bank. So that'll go a long way toward filling some of the holes we have so we can go into the draft with our eyes wide open and fill some of these holes ahead of time. So we're not such a need and position based team as far as the way that we draft. We can actually concentrate on drafting the best players. So that's always a good thing. So, as I've covered, we're heading into the 2024 season with about 46 million in cap room. We're going to cut at least two veterans that we know of so far. This feels pretty obvious on these two. Cutting Eddie Jackson and Cody Whitehair, that'll save us about a combined 21.7 million and bump our cap room figure up to about 67. So that's pretty nice. Then we use that saved cash to help us sign Jalen Johnson either to a long-term contract or hit him with a franchise tag, and that'll cost us about 18 million for the first year of the franchise tag. So cool. Let's check out some guys. They're being linked to us, and I think they'd be smart moves. So let's start with the offense, and we have a glaring hole at center. I'm going to go to the story on bearsdigest.com. It's a fantastic source. You guys check them out. I always want to give credit. So we have a glaring hole at center, right? Patrick, he isn't it. Whitehair, he's been bouncing around the line, and he actually had issues snapping the ball unbelievably in his time filling in there. So he's not the answer as well. So an absolutely free agent target, I believe, is Aaron Brewer. He's from the Tennessee Titans. He's their center, and he could be a bargain. With solid centers available in free agency, Aaron Brewer, he's fallen under the radar a little bit. So why would we target him as our first choice? I think the main reason is reliability. He played on 100% of the offensive snaps as the starting center for the Titans. And I'll be honest, though, he isn't a huge physical presence. He's not a physical specimen, but his athleticism, that's his main attribute. And he has a very quick release from the initial step, and it more than compensates for the lack of size. All around, if you listen to people, the popular choice is typically center Connor Williams from Miami. And he should be. He was flashing huge during the year as a Pro Bowler. I believe it was his second year, but he tore his ACL during the regular season, which could scare us away. And I think that's rightfully so. As we trade draft picks, as we finagle around, I'd love to see us draft somebody like Powers Johnson. He's a fantastic prospect. And in order to draft him, we need a reliable option at center to start. Because although the great thing about him is that he's extremely flexible, he's played multiple spots across the offensive line during his collegiate career, but we need a reliable center to sign that is a viable starting option, and he's going to be solid like Brewer. So let's say we draft Powers Johnson, we can slide him down the line where he's shown to be competent playing, and he can learn behind Brewer. He can learn behind Brewer until he's ready to take over the position. That can be a half year. That can be a full year. We'll sign Brewer to a lower year contract, perhaps 1 to 2 years if it's at all possible. But when he's ready to go, he can slide into the position, and it's a completely good get. A good thing about Brewer as well, he's budget friendly. His projected contract is about 3 years, 18 million, 8 million guaranteed. I wouldn't want to sign him for more than 3 years. And I think we can totally handle that. We can still pursue more players as well. So it's kind of a win-win, right? Receiver. You guys know that I've been watching. I'm really into Curtis Samuel as a signing. We need another wideout. And for those who watch regularly, once again, you know I love Samuel as an ad, and I'll tell you why. It'd make current Bears wide receiver DJ Moore, make him super happy, right? They're former teammates with the Carolina Panthers, and they've remained very close. They're very close friends. I believe Curtis Samuel is godfather to one of DJ Moore's daughters, so that's like a really close relationship. And also, I think that he'd be a good signing, and it actually might happen, is that our new coach used to be DJ Moore's coach in college. So with all things being equal, and with DJ Moore having the stature on the team that he has, if all things remain equal and we're between a couple of different wideouts to sign, DJ Moore's opinion might carry some weight. So I just wanted to kind of make note of that. And once again, if you know our general manager, he absolutely loves versatile players. That's exactly what we need. And Samuel, he's pretty crafty. He can be used in various ways in the offense. So adding a wideout with a different skill set than Moore, that is a huge thing. It allows us to pivot more within the scheme that Waldron's going to run. And I absolutely love the pickup. So doing a little bit of research, I saw the projected contract was 2 years, about $9 million and $3 million guaranteed. I think that's a little light. I think it would more than likely take about what Darnell Mooney's going to command on the open market, and that's about $11 million a year. So we can still handle that. He's a good player, a good fit, affordable cost, and a shorter contract to provide a complement to whoever we draft. And yes, join me in pounding the table for MHJ. I'm totally on top of that. But man, what a good get he would be as a number 3 receiver. So here we go. It's not a huge need, but if you guys know Waldron's scheme, he runs a lot of multiple tight end sets. And let's just stop bringing in Packers retreads. Goodbye, Robert Tonyan. I'm not going to miss you, but I want to talk about Noah Fant. As you guys know, he was the tight end for Seattle, and he actually makes a lot of sense. So adding Fant, that makes sense since the Bears, as you know, they recently hired offensive coordinator Shane Waldron from Fant's previous team, the Seahawks. He's been a reliable guy too. 12 personnel sets, they make him a needed piece. Waldron loves to run those. And also, Bears fans, we know that general manager Ryan Poles, he loves players with a high relative athletic score, the RAS score. You've heard it a lot on this channel, but as the draft comes closer, you're going to hear this metric a ton. And his RAS, Noah Fant's RAS, is a stunning 9.88 out of 10. That's almost perfect. He fits the player profile mold that we love. And why not give Waldron a player he already knows he can utilize, right? So his projected contract is probably, we can get him for 1 year, 2.5 to 3.5 million, $1 million guaranteed, and stitch him up and bring him into town. I mean, why not do this? Another major player that I want to talk about, and this would be for the defense, is Xavier McKinney. He's a New York Giants free safety. He is a free agent, and he'll turn 25 in August. He's a really good player. So heading to the defensive side of the ball, Xavier McKinney, he's a dynamic free safety. He played 100% of the defensive snaps for the New York Giants, not offensive. He doesn't play both ways. He had 3 interceptions and a career high 11 passes defense. McKinney just had a career best 116 tackles while missing just 6.5% of his tackle attempts. So that's great. He's a sure tackler. He's been productive. He's had 9 interceptions in 4 seasons, passer rating of about 69 this past season when targeted, according to Sport Radar, and a 72.2 in 2021. He also has adaptability. He can be a box safety if required, but he'd better be served playing deep, and I think that's how we want to use him in this defense. He'd work way better interchanging with Brisker in this regard. It'd be nice to be able to switch those guys up. He also has an 87.8 PFF grade. That was a career high as well last year, as was his 91.2 PFF coverage grade. He was the league's 4th highest graded safety overall, and he had the best coverage grade out of everyone. It looks like he's an ascending player. We can get him on his way up. We can get him at the top of the curve. And as you know, we got to do something here. I'd love to see us address this need in the draft, but he's the best pivot if we choose to do so. McKinney, he'd also be a stable presence. We can talk about Eddie Jackson for a second. It's not going to take long. His best days are behind him, and with this hefty contract, it's going to be best to move on from him. And you know what? We can replace him with another solid Alabama safety, so that might actually help. Probably means nothing. So let's talk about his contract. His projected contract is probably 3 years, 21 million, 14 million guaranteed. That might be a little low, but this might be a player that's actually worth top 10 safety money. I think we should pay it if he is. He might push up to the 37 million asking price. That's the course of the contract, not 1 year, which would be about 12 million per year. Definitely worth looking at. And Lex finish up with one more player. I hope I pronounce his name properly. That's my kryptonite. It's AJ Epinesa with the Buffalo Bills. He's their edge rusher. He was a former fourth round. Excuse me. Let me slow down. He was a former first round pick. He's been silently having a productive career with the Buffalo Bills. And also, we have a market that's brimming with top tier pass rushers. He'd be an underrated pickup for the Bears. We don't want to pay top dollar. And our new defensive coordinator, Eric Washington, he previously served as his defensive line coach, so he knows this player intimately. So we should be able to get the book on him quite easily. Also, Poles, he loves to sign players that grew up in the Chicago area. And with him being from Oak Park, it's a match made in heaven. Washington's a defensive line genius. I firmly believe that. And he could likely get top tier production out of him opposite Sweat. I mean, if you look at Ngakoue last year, he didn't really make a huge impact until Sweat came to town, and that greatly helped his production. If he is coming here and he hasn't really done top tier work yet, putting him opposite of Sweat, that should work wonders. And also we have the coach to work him through the paces. So if we have him, this could allow us once again the ability to pivot in the draft. We could address the offensive line with our top end draft capital, and we could spend like a day 2 or 3 pick on a player we can develop. With our stacked defensive coaching staff, I'm absolutely confident that could be done, but he could command some big money, but he is not a bad pivot. And you guys, I really appreciate you spending this time with me, going through some offensive and defensive players that we're not only being linked with, but they would also be great fits within our scheme. And we're also not breaking the market on any of them.